Hey everyone, it's Job. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to Job's Journal. If this is your first time here, or welcome back. Job's Journal is all about journaling, planning, and stationery. And today's video is extremely exciting because I wanted to look down memory lane and look at the past 10 years of journaling. So on the 25th of June in 2015, I purchased my first traveler's notebook. This is a black traveler's notebook. Back then, we used to call it the Midori traveler's notebook before Midori did its kind of rebranding of the traveler's notebook for it to be its own company. And yeah, 2015 was the start of me deliberately documenting my day-to-day life in a creative journal. And it's been 10 years of working on it semi-daily, and although I don't have all my records and all my past inserts, I thought it would be fun to talk about my journaling journey thus far, talk about some things that I've learned, and maybe do some fun recreations from my first traveler's notebook insert, my first journal insert, and recreate it 10 years later. So that's gonna happen today, but first of all, let's talk about the history of my journaling practice and how it all started. So my obsession with traveler's notebooks started back in 2015. I was actually just out and about with my sister in my favorite neighborhood that I've taken you to multiple times on this channel, Gastown in Vancouver. And I was just walking around with her and we bumped into a store called Orling and Woo, which has since closed. It's so sad. It used to be beside the old coffee bar, which was a very big part of my university experience because I spent most of my late evenings and weekends writing my papers at that coffee shop. So I would pass by Orling and Woo a lot 10 years ago when I was finishing up my teaching degree. And I actually saw, my sister actually saw, not me, the traveler's notebook. And she called me over and we're like, wow, this is so cool. Like, look at this notebook. And the sales associate there was like talking us through it. And I think at the time, the traveler's notebook was like, I don't know if it was at its current price of like 55 US dollars, but in Canadian dollars, I think it was like close to 50, which kind of checks out for 10 years ago. And I was so like intrigued. Both of us were so intrigued, my sister and I. She was intrigued by the passport size, and I really wanted the regular size because I thought, wow, like I could use this forever. And in that time, or during that time, I was a big fan of the Moleskine dated planners. I used a bunch of Moleskine planners, and I was using composition notebooks from, oh, they're actually called the decomposition notebooks. I use that a lot for my note taking if I wasn't typing on my laptop during undergrad and during my teaching degree as well. So those were kind of like my analog system that I used a lot back in the day, but I was so intrigued about having like one nice leather cover to have forever and then just supplement it with new notebook inserts. So I walked away from that shop with just a notebook insert. My sister didn't get anything, but I bought this exact insert. This is the grid paper insert. I will show you one spread. So it's just grid paper. It's the 03, no, 02. And I ended up using it that day. So I purchased this actually before my traveler's notebook, and I purchased this on June 22nd of 2015. And then fast forward to now, it being June, I started this on the 22nd as well. And I thought it would be a nice mirror to 10 years ago. And I'm gonna show you a little bit of this later on. But yeah, this carried me through my first year of being out of school. So I graduated from my teaching degree and I got my first job teaching, and it chronicles my like job application process in here and everything. And it ultimately ends with me, I think, finishing my last day of my teaching program, and also talking about where I ended up going or choosing as my first job. And my first kind of like career job was actually moving to Korea, to teach English. So I joined the EPIC program, and I guess this is part two of like the story of Job's Journal. I started Job's Journal around the same time as when I purchased this, because I wanted to chronicle like my usage of this traveler's notebook. And also, the main reason why I also purchased this was to chronicle my life living in Korea. At the time, this was like my biggest dream. I loved watching the now defunct YouTube channel Simon and Martina Eat Your Kimchi. They were Canadians that lived in Korea and taught English, and ultimately I think that became their career, the YouTube channel. And I loved their life in Korea, and it inspired me to teach in Korea and to live in Korea. And so I was so excited to follow my dream of finally moving to Korea, to teach. I was a big K-pop fan. I loved Big Bang and 21, and I think that was around 2015. I was really big into K-pop during that time. So it was like a dream come true to be moving to Korea to teach. But I thought I was going to be living in Seoul, in this nice metropolitan area. But it turns out that the EPIC program, so that's the English teaching program that's run by the Korean government, they actually have the liberty of stationing you wherever they please. And I got stationed in this tiny beach town called Pyeonsan, which is like maybe an hour and a half away from Jeonju, which is like central South Korea. And the closest city was called Busan. So Pyeonsan, there actually is now a movie about it. When I was leaving Korea, there was film sets filming a movie entitled Pyeonsan, which I haven't watched because it's still like, I know it's been like almost 10 years since I moved there, but it still makes me sad that I don't live there anymore. Don't get me wrong, I love where I'm living now, but it was such a like integral part of my being as a human, and like how I've developed as a human, living in Korea. So I really leaned into my traveler's notebook and my creative hobby of journaling, because I was in this tiny beach town where there's only one other English teacher, and most of the people in that smaller town didn't speak English or had very like limited English usage. So I was really forced to learn a little bit of Korean, speaking Korean, and also like be very introverted because there's not much to do in that tiny like beach town, and it took a while to get to like a nearby city. So I spent a lot of time alone, and I really leaned into my creative hobbies and sharing my creative hobbies online. And in 2015 and 2016, my Instagram, Job's Journal, started like getting traction, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy, because I never thought that, you know, posting just like my innocent journaling pages would get me, you know, some sort of following on social media. But since then, it kind of like snowballed, and I was becoming more confident in journaling. I was meeting journaling friends online, and I even went to my first kind of traveler's notebook centric shop called the Time Store, which would become a partner shop for Traveler's Company and Traveler's Notebook a few years later. So I actually got my first customization on my black Traveler's Notebook with my initials on the bottom right corner from the Time Store. And Song Jun-shin, I think that's his name, he runs the store. And I used to call him, I don't know if I can call him that still, but Song Jun-hyung, like older brother, was, like hyung means older brother in Korean. I would like visit his shop like all the time. Like every time I visited Seoul, which was like every 2 weeks, I would like go to his shop and like I have a bunch of my older traveler's notebooks that have been customized for free at the Time store. I still recommend going. I believe he's like the distributor of like traveler's notebook in Korea now, which is crazy. And yeah, so like traveler's notebook became embedded with my like personal life in terms of documenting my life in Korea, but it also became a creative outlet and also like this kind of like budding social media presence. And so I think a few years later in 2017, when I moved back, late 2017, I started posting on my YouTube channel, and I think my first video was actually a store tour of the Time store in Seoul, South Korea. And then later in that year, I ended up moving back. So it was like a good 2.5 years of living in Korea. And then I moved back to Canada to start my big boy job as a teacher. I'm a trained high school teacher, but I actually went back to Canada and decided to teach at an elementary school. And I loved it. And I don't want to go through like the next, like 7 years of my life, 5 years of my life. But when I moved back to Canada, I taught and I was keeping up with Job's Journal. And I think around 2022, I started freelancing for Travelers Company USA. So Travelers Company USA is like the US branch of Travelers Company, which is the brand that makes this Traveler's Notebook. And, we work directly with the Japan team. So when I started freelancing for them, I was already freaking out because at that point I was just a full-on TN fanboy, Traveler's Notebook fanboy, and I journaled every day, and it was just a part of my life and my creative pursuits. And when I started freelancing for them, eventually they offered me a job, and that's where I am here today. That's why I live in Long Beach, and that's why I am at all these Travelers Company events, because I was lucky enough to be hired by the brand of notebook that I use. And all of that happened because I bought this like notebook, which still makes me really, I don't know, it feels surreal. It feels like a story. Like it feels like I'm telling you a made up story, but it's real. And it just goes to show how much can happen in 10 years, but also like what can happen when you just like kind of follow your creative pursuits and you kind of don't know where life is gonna bring you. And I think that's really a big part of my journey and the reason why I love Traveler's Notebook so much. I think the quote that you've seen a lot in the Travelers Company, Traveler's Notebook products is this quote, and it's for all the travelers who have a free spirit. And I feel like I really embodied this this mantra, at least in the past few years, of just taking that opportunity and moving and starting this new life. And I miss Vancouver and I miss teaching all the time, but ultimately I'm so thankful for this opportunity to try a creative career and do something in the creative field, and also to work with a product and something that I already use daily and love daily, and work and use these products for work. It seems like a dream come true, and it is a dream come true. But that's kind of like my journey with the Traveler's Notebook. It's very serendipitous. I think all of it is very serendipitous. It's kind of like these small chance meetings and small interactions that have compiled together to bring me to where I am today. And I'm ultimately thankful for you for, supporting Job's Journal, watching videos, commenting, following on Instagram, becoming a Patreon eggie. All of it really means like something to me and is a big part of my journey. So I thank you for watching. But that's my little like intro to my 10 years of journaling. I thought we would kind of slow down and actually look through this journal and recreate a journal spread and look at some of the journal spreads that I did in the past and analyze like what vibe and style I was journaling in. As someone who didn't own any stationery, I don't think you can tell I don't have any washi tapes. I just put these post-its to cover stuff up. But I think I bought my first washi tape like at this point, and it's like a silver or gold washi. But yeah, let's take a look and go down memory lane and yeah, look through this. I thought today it would be fun to actually look through my traveler's notebook and pick a few stylistic cues from my first ever traveler's notebook insert from 10 years ago. This was started on June 22nd, 2015, and right now it is that date, June 22nd, and I thought I would recreate, a journal spread in this style that is very iconic to my first traveler's notebook. If you look through it, there's a lot of kind of chunky brush lettering in black and silver or gray. There's a lot of Instax camera photos that I used. I don't have an Instax camera or printer, but I was digging through my stash and I found one so we can recreate this style. There's a self-portrait / a picture with me and my mom. Things never change because I'm still obsessed with documenting my traveler's notebook in my traveler's notebook. Let's see, little doodles, lots of doodles, using alcohol markers. I don't have any, so we'll make do. And then I was using this technique of scanning my phone and using this as like a design element, and I think it's so fun. So I photocopied my phone as well, and I thought, wow, phones are a lot bigger now, but I thought it'd be fun to use today as well. So yeah, we're gonna journal and we're gonna use those design principles. So doodling, using photocopies of cell phones, using Instax, a lot of brush lettering, and there's really no stickers, and I only had metallic washi tape. And although I don't own those washi tapes, I actually finished all these rolls, which is so cool. I thought I would use very like plain and minimal washis. Like this is just a grid washi and this is just a gray washi, and I think it kind of conveys that vibe of just simple plain washi tapes that I was using. And yeah, lots of found ephemera still, and heavy hand on the washi tape. So I thought I would take all of those, and I'll keep this on the side, but I think, yeah, we'll reference these a lot. And the date is always written with a brush pen, and I went page to page full. So a lot of my journaling lately has had a lot more, I guess, breathing room, a lot more negative space, at least in the borders. I still complete my journal spreads very full and maximalist, and I love a busy journal page with a lot of elements going on, but I think things just look a little bit more put together now just because I do allow myself a little border around my traveler's notebook journal spread. So I'm gonna go back to basics and journal like that. So let's get started. I'm excited. I found this Polaroid from when Abby was here, and she has a Instax printer, so I'll be using that. I think we should cut this out first, actually. I kind of want to use the white one because that's what we used in the original one, and I used a black and white photocopier because I remember that day I was actually working. I was working at, if you're Canadian, I worked at Purdy's all throughout my undergrad, and also when I was working on my teaching degree. So through 2 programs, 2 degrees, I supported myself there for 5 years. And yeah, that was like my part-time job, and I kind of miss it. I miss working at a chocolate shop, honestly. So that's one element. And I thought for found ephemera, I would use the actual packaging of this traveler's notebook. I always have a hard time peeling this off actually, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna cut it. Because every time I peel this off, actually no, let's just peel it. I feel like Job would have peeled this in the past. Oh, and to really bad results. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. You guys have a hard time peeling this? I always actually would just start cutting the plastic out, but we persevered. Oh, okay. So, yeah. I think some of it peeled up too much, but you know what? I think I'm gonna try and glue that down. Oh, do I have a glue stick? Shoot. Oh, I do. I have liquid glue. The panic! And I think I don't know if I owned a tape runner during this time. I think I did, guys, because I was a chronic Michael's goer. I would go to Michael's all the time. Okay, I just did that to fix that tear, but I'm not gonna glue this down. But since this is a modern interpretation of this, I think we'll use a tape runner. But first things first, let's do the date. So this is the design elements that I want to use. My space. I wish I had that Daiso felt tip marker. I also used a lot of the Pitt artist pens, but I only have this white one now. So I guess in terms of supplies, I have a very vastly different supply or pencil case that's full of supplies. It's Sunday, June 22nd, and I just went with how I would do it now. Wow, so weird to go straight to the edge there. And then I think there's a balance between not using any washi tape. I think I didn't own washi tape back then yet. And then when I started owning it, I kind of went overboard. So I think I'm going to strike a balance of using some washi and no washi at all. So I think for this, and I would just go straight to the edge, right? Yeah, I think a lot of it just goes straight to the edge, which is, it feels weird. Like now I would put that right here, but Job would have put it like right there, or like right even down here. It feels weird, but again, I think since we're trying to strike a balance, I think I'm gonna put it in the middle and give myself a little edge, just a little, guys. And I know that this kind of defeats the purpose of using this, because this didn't happen today. This happened literally a year ago, but I thought it was fitting because this happened in around June-ish as well last year. And yeah, cool. I think this one, would I do something like that, or would I do something unhinged like that? And then we have our phone. I think the phone takes up so much room. The phone will go on the edge like that. I think something I would do is actually put this straight up right here at the front, because this is something that I just opened today, and I feel like I would have put this like straight on the page right away. I'm scared to washi tape anything now. just because I don't have the metallic ones. I wish I did. Maybe we'll do this again with more accurate supplies. Oh, and then I can do my doodle on this. That would be cool. And then I think I would put this to the edge so I can write around it. You know what? Let's... Oh, and I think I cut my washi all the time. It was never torn, which is crazy because I love torn edges now. Oh, you know what? I was using, I think, like a little tape dispenser. So this actually needs to be a clean edge. Weird. Very unlike me now. Actually, this is a very wide washi tape, and I think I was using, yeah, this is a 2 centimeter washi. I think this is a 1.5 centimeter washi. So I think I'm just gonna cut this in half. Actually, using this feels so full circle because this is a stationary selection washi tape, and Mitz was one of the first people. I'm gotta shout out Mitch. She's an OG, and honestly, I think I owe her like a lot as to why I journal, because I think she's literally one of the main sources of information I found when I was looking up Traveler's Notebook. Whoa, this is so... Also, I cut it down to fit exactly like the I guess the width of this ephemera. So interesting. Part of me would have just torn all of this, and I would never tape that down like that anymore. Oh, should I tip this in? I don't know. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna do my doodle first. I'm gonna try and copy this exact one, but I'll put, instead of Job, like 10 years later. And I have a beard now. I was yapping too much, and so I decided to just put us on a good old time lapse and just do a voiceover, just like how I used to do my videos in the past. It's crazy that I used to not show my face on this channel, and making this little time lapse feels a little nostalgic. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has stuck by Job's Journal on YouTube for all the years. There has been so many changes and different formats, and I'm so thankful that all of you are just here for the ride and here to just indulge in my creativity and, you know, let me do things that I want to do on this channel. I'm forever grateful. But yeah, I doodled myself. This guy looks way better looking than I could ever look like, so I apologize. But yeah, I ended up just coloring him in with mild liners because I feel like I ended up finding mild liners very early into my journaling journey, so it felt integral to show that. And then I added a bunch of washi tape because I realized, you know what, I used to do a lot of like not random washi placements, but like washi for the sake of having washi on the page, and I would put it from corner to corner. And although I didn't do that totally in this journal spread, I still wanted to pay homage to how I would use washi tape back in the past. But this is the completed journal spread. I hope you had fun joining me. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had fun going and walking down memory lane with me and looking at my traveler's notebook journey and my journaling journey. It's been 10 years of documenting my life, and I can't wait to continue to journal and document my life for 10 more years and many more years to come. While editing this video, I was looking through that first traveler's notebook insert that I ever completed, and I wanted to share with you a part of my last journal entry in this notebook. I think it's super fitting for this video. My last day of journaling in this notebook. Looking back, this notebook captured so many feelings and memories. I can't believe it's only been a month and a bit since I started journaling, and so much has happened in my life. I can't wait to fill in more notebooks and experience more memories. Farewell, notebook. Thank you for always listening to my stories. Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. Job's Journal. I'm legit gonna cry right now, but I'm gonna let outro Job do his thing. But I just want to say thank you so much for filling in these notebooks with me over the past 10 years. I can't wait to share even more stories and journal entries with you in the future, hopefully for 10 more years and even more years to come. But here, let's let past Job finish this video up. I'm thankful for you for joining me on this journey today, but also for joining me in the past 10 years. No matter if you've recently just found me through Job's Journal or have been following me from the get-go, from my days in Korea, I'm so thankful for all of your love and support. It really means the world to me, and I can't thank you enough. If you are interested in more fun content like this, be sure to check me out on Patreon. We are celebrating the 10 years of journaling over there as well, and there are a bunch of videos about the Artist Way, which is a creativity course that I'm working on, and there's there's weekly recaps about the Artist Way over there on Patreon. I think that's it. I love you so much. I'll see you in the next one. I love you, Eggies. Please be safe. And if you made it to the end of this video, leave your favorite notebook emoji in the comments below. I really like the tan one or the red one. I don't know if there's a black notebook. There should be a black composition notebook emoji, in my opinion. But leave your favorite notebook emoji in the comments below because it's 10 years of journaling. Okay, I love you so much. Please be safe and take care. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.